Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome back to the realm of inspiration. In this week's video, we are tapping into the energy of the crows. We are learning what the call of the crows is. The crows have a deep connection to the veil line and the guardians of the veil. So I'm feeling like the guardians of the veil, as well as the Elfian Animal Healers of the crows, will come forth today. But first, the guardians of the veil are encouraging me to do my protections with all of you, as the crows are highly revered as communicators of the spirit realm. So it's important that if we're going to venture beyond the veil line, that our energy is protected and we are setting the intentions for the highest good. So I'm doing my protections with all of you. Now, I have Palo Santo incense going while I am waiting to get my Palo Santo wood. It still does the trick. And I have Himalayan salt rocks around for bringing some cleansing energy, as well as some healing blessed oil that has a lot of different essential oils in it, like white angelica, that is perfect for aura cleansing. So this I always use. It also has like frankincense and other myrrh, other cleansing herbs. Just to take a second now for the collective all, for us all, just do that surface level cleansing and then inviting in our guardian angels to surround us in their wings and removing all negativity to be taken and transmuted and reconstituted and alchemized into divine light and love with the support of the cleansers of the earth and cosmos, the transmuters of the earth and cosmos, the reconstitutors of the earth and cosmos, going all the way back to our beloved source and creator of all things, to be transformed into new positive energy. And we ask for, in return, source, it should give back to us our original source excellence. So we're just going to take a second now, and I invoke in the major four source energies. So that is the tree of life, tree of knowledge, flower of inspiration, and flame of truth as the major four source energies, source lights. Lights that come from a source or that house a source. So we are from the tree of life, we are beings of life. So another term for what light our source uses to create our souls is the tree of life for the Elfian Realm. Another term for the light, sometimes they call it an eternal plantation. Another term for the light that the source of the Elfian Realm uses to create their souls is the flower of inspiration. Then for the beings of knowledge, it is the tree of knowledge. They have been interpreted as dragons. For the beings of truth, it's the flame of truth. They have been interpreted as phoenixes, and there are other higher lights. I invoke them kind of in a little bit of a bundle together, but we will invoke them all now. And I focus all my energy on the top of my head, and I'm actually feeling the crow energy right now coming through in more of its like enlightened version. So like almost like a pure white crow is like showing its face to me now, which is very beautiful. So let's take some time now, and with the support of all of our guardian angels, we're going to do some mantras, and then we're going to invoke these higher lights in. So the mantras are: God protects, God watches over, times infinity. Gaia anchors, Gaia grounds, times infinity. Archangel Michael protects us, times infinity. Archangel Gabriel brings clarity of mind, times infinity. Archangel Raphael brings healing, times infinity. Archangel Uriel brings strength, times infinity. Archangel Metatron brings protection of lightworker abilities and trusting of divine timing, times infinity. Archangel Sandalphon brings stability, times infinity. Archangel Chamuel brings divine cosmic heart love, times infinity. Archangels Daniel, Zadkiel, and Raguel bring karmic balance healing, divine justice acceptance, and all things related to healing our karma and embracing divine justice, times infinity. Then we have all ascended masters led by the supreme ascended master, the Christed light, Jesus Christ, bringing forth the Christed light, the Christ consciousness into our space, with all other ascended masters bringing forth that Christ consciousness light, the golden Christed light, bringing that all around us times infinity. We are illuminating ourselves with this Christ consciousness light, this higher, elevated, enlightened light that has taken many names and many forms in many different cultures and religions and their ascended masters. Like, we have also Krishna, Buddha as well. Who else in other cultures have invoked the Christ consciousness? Jesus. I'm thinking, well, I can't think of any, it's not coming to the top of my brain right now, but all other ascended masters, all saints. One saint, ascended master, I always call on when I travel is Saint Christopher, because he helps with the journey. So he came forth to me right now. We're calling him forth to bring forth this higher enlightened light. It has nothing to do with the organized religion. This is the truth of the universe, the truth of the ascended masters. The saints are ascended masters or saints, the archangels. So that's to do with the truth of the universe and what's really there. So opening your mind to allowing forth that golden Christed light is going to help so much in opening your mind today to understand the call of the crows. Now that we've done that mantra, we have also our guardian angels surround us in their wings, ensuring nothing and no one can access us without our permission. I only allow divine light and love into my space. The flame of truth lights the path before me times infinity. My guardian angels are with me forevermore, and I call forth my Elfian traveler guide, my ascension guide, to ensure that everything I am doing is for the betterment of my ascension, to inspire me on my journey and guide me to the path that is most in alignment with my highest authenticity and highest self, times infinity forevermore. So those are the mantras. And I keep seeing this like pure white crow, and then I see another pure black crow, and a crow in between that looks like the yin and the yang coming together. So it's almost like their call is coming through in this protection. They have a very powerful protective energy. I'm seeing the guardians of sacred spaces also stepping into the space now, so we'll invoke them. I ask for the guardians of the veil to protect my veil line, ensuring that everything around me is occurring for my highest good. We banish all negativity, all jealousy, all evil eyes, all ill wish, all ill intent. It is not welcome here. We banish it with divine light and love and golden Christed light. And we invoke the golden rainbow fire, the culmination of all higher light energies from all archangels and higher ascended masters, to ensure that we are divinely protected and no negativity can enter our circle, can enter our path, can enter our life, because our life is led by light. And we call forth the guardians of sacred spaces to protect the sacred space that is this place I'm channeling in, to protect the sacred space that is your home and wherever you are listening to this channeling, and of course to protect the sacred space that is you, because our physical body is a sacred space for our soul. And so the guardians of sacred spaces, who are beings of hope from what has been interpreted as the Fey realm. They have been miscommunicated as trolls, but they are nothing like that. They are just very strong, powerful beings of hope that protect sacred spaces, and they look kind of rocky, and they're really fun to connect to, especially in Greece, where there are so many mountains and seas, not oceans, the seas, the Mediterranean and the Ionian, and so many portal energies and so much history connecting to the guardians of sacred spaces. So powerful. But there are so many beautiful sacred spaces wherever you are listening to this video, so you can invoke them anytime. And I see with them, the crows are kind of flying around them a little bit more than the guardians of the veil. So I feel like I'm feeling more that the crows work with the beings of hope more than inspiration in regards to how they communicate to the earthly realm. It's very interesting. As we're doing this protection, more and more clarity is coming for the call of the crow. Now we do the protection. So let's invoke these higher lights. Visualize above you a tube of the brightest angelic divine light you have ever seen. We're invoking the realm of the divine, and the realm of the divine is the angelic realm. So I always start with invoking the realm of the divine. I can't pinpoint a specific source energy for the realm of the divine, just divine light and love. And anytime I try to invoke their source energy, I just see the purest heavenly angelic light. And so I always start with that. And then we invoke the rest. So just visualize it moving through you and ask for the highest of divine lights, the light of the Holy Spirit, the light of the divine, the light of the angels, the light of divine light and love to move through you, aligning your body systems, protecting your body systems and chakras, just bringing you into alignment. And then we're going to start invoking the golden woven path for protection. So we're bringing forth the light of the tree of life, moving through us and starting to make that woven path. And as that light moves through us, it aligns us. It balances us, it activates us, it puts us on path for our highest selves. We are also having come through the light of tree of knowledge now and starting to weave with the tree of life light, the light of the flower of inspiration, to weave with the lights before it. And we're just bringing it forth, the flame of truth moving through us. And when the flame of truth moves through you, it is this bright, fiery energy. And you might feel like a little bit going on around the throat, because I'm feeling it now. It is the light of truth, and infusing with inspiration, knowledge, and life. It is what should be below our feet. So just visualize it really going below your feet and creating an illuminated path. And after doing that, we're just going to invoke in the light of Angelic Mother Gaia, the light of the Guardian of Life, the light of Source and Creator, all weaving through, the golden Christed lights, the golden rainbow fire, all healing lights and healing frequencies, cosmic abundance, cosmic joy, dragon's fire. Dragon's fire burns energy vampires. So when you visualize dragon's fire moving through you, different than the light of the tree of knowledge, different. Dragon's fire is the protective force for energy vampires. And crows actually can tell you if you have an energy vampire. Sometimes crows will come near you, and if they are appearing weak and kind of they can't pick themselves up and they're struggling a little bit, that is an indication you have an energy vampire, because their color frequency is black, and black absorbs and cleanses negativity, and white purifies. So you see it, it's kind of struggling, and you see it's not a healthy crow, that is an indication you have an energy vampire. And so the light of dragon's fire burns energy vampires and helps you reclaim your strength, as the dragon frequency is very powerful. And it's always important to invoke the flame of truth and then the dragon's fire. Do it in that order. Now we're having come through divine light, divine love, solar light, lunar light, all higher light frequencies. I may have forgot to mention all the frequency of hope, forgiveness, gratitude, and grace, all moving through us, aligning our body systems and chakras. And we call them the Elfian healers of all body systems and chakras. So just come through and put us into alignment now. Help us see things clearly. We're bringing forth the diamond of clarity from Archangel Gabriel, the healing frequency from Archangel Raphael, that emerald of healing coming through, that divine rose, quartz, rose, loving light energy from Archangel Chamuel. Just move through us. And all of this is to ground and anchor us into the divine soil of the earth. And we just put now, modifying how I do the protections, but we're putting now just this big invincible shield of protection. It's invincible. It's protecting us from all forms of negativity. It's giving us strength. It's calling forth the aquatic realm lights to bring us tranquility, divine tranquility. It is protecting our empathic abilities. It's got swords facing all around us, facing outwards, protecting our empathic ability from all living things that we may pick up, things that do not align with us. Sometimes we may pick up things from animals too. We pick up their pain and we don't know, because it doesn't feel foreign to us, because they really do feel pain in a similar vein as we do. So sometimes for me, a lot of times when I was in hotels where they allowed animals and there was a trapped dog inside of the rooms, I would feel frantic, I'd want to run, I'd feel anxious, and I used to confuse that feeling for being afraid of those dogs. But really what was happening was my empathic ability was feeling that they were trapped in a room and they had nowhere to go. We do feel it, but our body doesn't tell us this is from an animal, because we do have this kinship with them. We have an eternal loving friendship with them, because we are both protected by the light of the guardian angel of the earth, Angelic Mother Gaia, and the guardian of life, So we have this bond. We have the divine maternal and paternal source energies protecting both of us in this life. So we have that feeling. So just visualizing that our empathic ability being protected. You know, and for me, I say if I allow something through, may it be clear that it is not mine, and only something may come through to aid me in aiding somebody else in a reading, for the collective, or for someone personally. And if I allow that through, it comes through, and it comes through very clearly that it is not mine. You can set that intention, and I tell you, it works, because I've been doing it for years. I've had hundreds of clients, and it works every time. So just set that intention. There's a lot to do with the empathic ability going on right now in this month of May. So, and now we got the protective shield of Archangel Michael, the sword of truth facing outwards around us, that light of truth. We got the flame of truth, the dragon's fire, everything times infinity, and mirrors facing outwards around us, protecting us from all evil eyes, from all ill wish, from all ill intent. Those mirrors reflecting back to sender, whatever sender sends to us. And if someone sends us pure intentions, we receive those intentions. And they get those intentions sent back to them times infinity. But if someone sends us negativity, it will not reach us, for we are protected by the divine, and they will have sent back to them everything they sent to us in accordance with divine karma. And if we send anyone negativity, we know the laws of karma, and we accept the clearing of our karma in this moment now. And if we need to clear our karma, show us how. We're all protected, we're all good. I included that in because I felt the visual of the crows again, and it kind of reminded me that there is, they kind of have this like energy where they represent kind of the laws of the spirit realm. And there is this divine law that like, there's times where I've looked to the board of karma and the beings of divine justice and karmic balance, been like, I want to cash in on my good karma today. Let me cash in. But I also know I need to clear some bad karma, so like show me how, show me what I can do, show me how I can make amends, show me how I can fix things. I had one specific thing occur where I wanted to clear my karma for a specific thing that I did, and I was a kid and I made a mistake, and I would always set that intention, and whenever I set that intention, I'd go to work in the human world, and I would have a customer behave in the way that I behaved as a child when I didn't know any better, and then I would have to deal with the other side of that. And it got to the point where I'm like, okay, have I learned my lesson now? And we're good. And once I said I learned my lesson, I understand, it stopped. I stopped having that occur, and I felt this sense of relief come over me. So there is a lot where like when I see the visual of the crow energy, they are present in more than just like omen of death. No. They are omens of the spirit realm. You just have to learn how to listen to them. And there's so many, like the magpies, the ravens, they all have other things, you know, that they do, but they're all related. But the crows are like the leaders of the pack. There's a reason that they can mimic speech and they can kind of talk to us, because they have something to say. And I've always known that there is something more to them than like our interpretation of like omen of death. The same way like we interpret snakes as being bad, but they cleanse the earth. They are cleansing the ley lines. So it's really the time now. There's so much going on, and I'm saying this now from a human perspective before I channel the animal healers, just to kind of preface that there's a lot going on with experimentation of animals. And the experimentation of animals is what caused the fall of Atlantis. And I have felt this intense depression anytime I sit down to try and channel the Elfian Animal Healers. Because there is this sadness of, yes, it's important that this is occurring now because we must learn our lesson. For us to achieve the new golden age, we must understand, but they have given me warning so many times about the experimentation, and now it's just a test of free will. And they will not be interfering on that level too much, just be educating. And this has been communicated in another channeling I recently did. This has been communicated a few times where it's like they will not, the Elfian Realm is at this point not commenting on current affairs going on. They are just educating because they believe that the education and understanding, specifically in regards to the animal kingdom and plants as well, will be coming up. There will be channelings as well coming up this year about plants. They gave me for the entire year everything that they want to teach about this year. So I have it. I have my roster. I got my checklist. They will be educating more so until after October, when they will commentate more. They just need to observe how humans handle this period of time. So I invite you to have an open mind with all things, with everything. I know last week was the prosperous frogs, and that was a little bit more fun, a little bit more lighthearted. But when it comes to the crows, and especially like I have the eagles coming up, I have bears, I have literally everything, salamanders, like I have a lot. The crocodiles and the alligators too, they got lots, there's lots going on with their energy. When it comes to these animals coming forth to educate about how they can help us, this is all with an open mind, and to remember that there is a purpose, and the animals that are still existing in our present reality are here for a reason. If animals leave our present reality, they leave for a reason. They will not commentate about coming back. They will not commentate about coming back. It's all by the laws of nature and what is needed for the collective ascension of the earth. Everything serves a divine purpose. So just trusting that. Some things just aren't meant to exist in our current reality, and if we force things to, it can cause a little bit of a disruption. So now that I made that preface as a human being, just to kind of let them know it's okay, we can come through, we can teach. I feel with the frogs, I did not feel this like hesitation, but with the crows, I feel it a little bit more. I just feel like they observe things a little bit more. The frogs are a little bit more in their own world. As you learned in that video, I'll link that video here if you guys didn't check it out, last week's video, but the frogs are a little bit more in their own worlds. They're like, doing their own things, but the crows, their purpose is to be in between, like, the spirit world and the physical reality. Like, their purpose is to be in all the worlds and all the things, knowing everything. Like, that is their purpose. So they are observing absolutely everything. They are not a messenger. What's tickling my nose? My nose tickles whenever I know I'm about to channel the Elfian Animal Healers, because my nose always feels a weird sensation. But the crows, they see everything. They're not messengers of the veil. They are the communicator of the veil. Like, they are the, like, supreme head leader. Like, all the messengers of the veil follow them. Like, they are the communicators of the veil. So it's very fascinating, and I feel, just seeing in my mind's eye a white crow. I'll try and see if I can find, like, if there is a picture, because there is, like, like the albino version of, like, every animal, and then there's the other version, I forgot the name of it, it's going to be on the screen. So I know that it definitely exists, like different genetic mutations that happen for a divine purpose. All genetic mutations are purposeful. Everything is purposeful. Anything that happens naturally and occurs naturally is on purpose. So it has a divine purpose. So I know they exist, but it's just this weird visual where it's like, I don't want to close my eyes and not see it. It's very, like, I don't know, something about the way that the visual of it coming to me is so pretty. But I guess I can close my eyes and they can keep giving me that visual. Let's call in forth now. We're going to have an Elfian Animal Healer, divine masculine energy, of the crow assistance, of assisting the crow. So an Elfian Animal Healer that works with the crow group soul to come forth and educate us on the call of the crow. We've already had some, like, minor education throughout the flow of this video so far, but let's get that deep education. What you got to tell us about the crows? What do we need to know about them? How can they help us now? How can we connect to them? And just, like, what's their purpose in relation to us? And why is it important that we understand them at this time? As well. I always wonder that. I never say it out loud, but when the Elfian Realm tells me, okay, now this is this animal now. The frogs I knew, because the frogs came to me a while ago, I knew. But the ones coming up, like this one moving forward, I don't know why it came up at this time, so I'd like to know. Like, Like, tell us, why now? Why are we learning about these animals now? What is the point now? Do they have something to say? So, with that intention set, let's cultivate some higher energy, divine souls. Divine masculine, Elfian Animal Healer of the crows. When I have safely stepped back, you may step forth. Hello, I'm a divine masculine, Elfian Animal Healer of the crows. The crows can be a very either loud or quiet group soul. When they have something to say, they will speak. When they have nothing to say, they will observe. They're very particular about communication. Like the communicator mentioned, they are the communicator of the veil. And the communicator of the veil, the energy that is the communicator of the veil, is not a human, it is an animal. Because humans can have filtration in relation to the veil line, but animals cannot. So, any beautiful being that connects to the veil line through mediumship, through channeling, through whatever it may be, you have the guardians of the veil are present, the guardians of sacred spaces are present, and crows are present on their shoulders, but they don't always make their presence known. Crows are not a bad omen. There is no bad omen. There is a bad reaction. So I want to talk about that first, because we're all about clearing miscommunication. And specifically in regards to the crows, they are very communicator energy. So there is lots to communicate in relation to their call and their song. So what's important to know is that why things were given the term bad omens is because what they represented caused a bad reaction in people who didn't know how to respond to the warning, to the message, to whatever it may be. There was the period of time where death was something to be afraid of. So when crows would come to deliver messages of this departed loved one has a message for you, or come to communicate on behalf of the spirit realm, there was a time where death was to be feared. So they were given a bad reputation. This is because humans had a bad reaction to their messages. And this is the same thing in regards to tarot, specifically in regards to the death card in traditional tarot and the devil card in traditional tarot, or the demon's card or whatever in the original traditional tarot. Those cards represent, the devil card represents the ego. The death card represents transformation. But these things were given a bad reputation because someone didn't want to accept the messages coming through and had a bad reaction and created fear about something. And when there is a lot of fear created about something, that something might have something important to say. There was also a period of time where there was a lot of fear created about angels, about God, about the divine. Why? Because if fear can make you afraid of things that can help you overcome fear, then it holds the power. And crows are the biggest misinterpreted symbol. Because nothing is a bad omen unless it is a negative manifestation, but we will not talk about that. Because even at this present moment in time, because of the experimentation going on, even negative manifestations are feeling that something is wrong. That is all that will be said on that front. But we're not talking about negative manifestations, because at this point there is nothing that can be done. There's nothing that can be done about them at this point, as long as the experimentation is still occurring, as long as there is manipulation occurring, as long as free will is being taken away, as long as freedom is being manipulated, as long as freedom is being abused and being used to play God with people and animals, negative manifestations are going to exist. That's not important. Most important, the crows. The biggest. I would say, okay, maybe the foxes are communicators, asking, what about the foxes? Well, one day, Not this year. One day it will be discussed. What their message is, what they have to say. Everything delivers a message. But on that point, to the communicator, because she's pulling up a very specific memory of hers to us to ask a question at this time. So, to that point, it's not that they're bad. To our communicator, when she heard them crying and laughing and calling to her, they were warning her about something. And she knew that, but she wanted to ignore. But now she knows. Warnings does not make a creature bad. The truth is what animals strive to communicate, because they do not have the filtration of the ego. But since humans have the filtration of the ego, the truth can be scary and cause bad interpretations. So what does that mean? Does that mean that crows are harbingers of truth? Yes. Does that mean they are connected to the frequency of truth? Of course. Lots of birds are, because of the flame of truth. Eagles, crows, ravens, they're all connected to the frequency of truth in some way. Parrots, owls, because truth flies, truth soars, truth is a flame, and it rises. Same way knowledge is connected to reptiles. So, it's important for you to know why the crows have something to say now, because it is time to stop seeing things in nature as something occurring to hurt you. Now there is bigger on that with the elements. They're communicating from Mother Nature. Weather occurring is not a personal attack on you. Animals appearing are not a personal attack. The universe is trying to communicate to you. The guardian of the earth, angelic Mother Gaia, she is trying to communicate to you, so she will use her children, the elements, the nature, the animals. And you are the children of the guardian of life. So he wishes nothing more than for you to communicate with life. Because you exist as beings of life does not mean that life cannot exist without you, but life thrives with your support. The earth can exist without humans. It did. Humans need the earth to exist, because if there is no earth, how can you physically incarnate? No, the earth thrives with your support. The biggest test of humanity is the earth. Because you are beings of life, your collective test is the earth. Because me, as an Elfian animal healer, I am a being of inspiration and healing. And in a way, communication, because communicate and work with the animals. But first and foremost, inspiration. So that is why we, as beings of inspiration, step through our communicator to teach and inspire, to hope that you can connect to the beings of hope, our friends the Fae, feel hope, hope that you can connect to the, hope we can inspire you to connect to the beings of truth and knowledge and all higher beings. Our primary objective is to inspire you to establish eternal loving friendship with all things of all higher light, and to understand why you are here. So we know that the frequency of inspiration is our biggest test, even though we don't experience things in the same way as humans. So when we come forth, we have something to inspire, not something to say, something to inspire. So the crows, their call is to remind you of the truth of the spirit realm. To remind you how connected everything is. To remind you that you are not alone. To aid you in ancestral healing. And through the process of grief. So the communicator is asking us now, well, a lot of times when animals come through, there is the term animal healer is used in two ways. Us as the Elfian Animal Healers, the higher beings that work as animal healers, and then animals who are healers. So she's asking, what are crows healers for? Grief. They are healers of grief. They come to aid you through the stages of grief. And their goal is to help you reach acceptance. But a lot of humans just saw their presence as a bad omen and never processed their grief. And grief does not just mean with the dead. Grief means with change, grieving your old life. Their goal and their ultimate goal is to help you reach acceptance so that they can communicate all of the beautiful things to you, because grief prevents you from receiving, like being stuck in grief. Being stuck in grief and not allowing yourself to process grief can prevent you from the next step after grief. So when it comes to departed loved ones, if there's something to encourage you to go through the grieving process, actually go through it. Do not rush. Actually go through the grieving process, because that's what the crows want you to know. Actually go through the grieving process. Once you get through grief with a departed loved one, you can start a new story with them. A lot of times they will come to be your ancestral representative, or you can at least have that healing if you feel. For our communicator, her grandfather who passed 10 years ago, he comes through as a representative of the ancestral lineage, as her ancestral guide. But if she did not go through the process of grief, she could not start that relationship. So actually go through grieving the loss, because the crows want to let you know it's okay to feel the loss. Feel the pain. It's okay to question life and death. It's okay. But do not be afraid of it, because if you're afraid of the process, you cannot experience the process that is needed for the next step. Because you have so many departed loved ones beyond the veil who you may have lost recently or a long time ago, who are eagerly waiting for the day that you grieve their physical form so that you can connect with their soul. They do not leave you. And when it comes to grieving change and other things, there's something beautiful on the other side. One thing the crows want to say, because they love intermingling with, with humans and other animals and other birds, and they just love being involved. They like following. They really do. They like following people and following other birds specifically. They love following the eagles. They just love having that connection and just showing things. They like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Bringing things to you. Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. They're actually very, very, very joyful beings. If you get past that negative personification that was placed on them, that negative image that was placed on them. They're very, very fun. Very, very fun to be around, because they're connected to both sides. So they have that light of the spirit realm within them if you allow yourself to see it. And they would say when you grieve the loss of a friend or a romantic partner, not to death, but just to not having them in your life, or, even if it's a family member. Our communicator had to grieve the loss of her entire paternal side for the most part, because they did not support and understand her. And when she was going through pain, they didn't acknowledge it. So she had to go through the process in these last 5 years of grieving that loss. And on the other side of grieving that loss, on the other side of that, is more beautiful connections. You are rewarded with something new. On the other side of grief is something beautiful. Because the universe is a give and take energy. So when you let something go, something new comes to you. Because if it's something you're meant to have, even if it doesn't come through, it can come through in whatever form it's meant to. But if it's something you're meant to have, if that connection, if that best friend, if you're meant to be married, if you're meant to have best friends, if you're meant to have a loving family, even if you have to go no contact with that family, even if you lose that best friend, if you go through a breakup, on the other side of grieving that loss, if you're meant to have that, it's going to come to you, just as it's going to come to you in a different way. And the universe wants to give it to you. It wants to give it to you. It wants to give you that new best friend. It wants to give you that chosen family. It wants to give you that romantic partner that's going to be your husband. It wants to give it to you, or a wife, or a life partner. It wants to give it to you. But if you're still holding on to grief, because grief is something that you humans hold on to, because you don't know what it's like to live without that person, without that situation, and so you live without that, but with grief as a crutch until you are ready. Take your time processing grief, but know that there are beautiful things on the other side of it. Once you reach acceptance, the universe is going to be like, bang, 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 you did it, you healed something. You did it, you moved on, here you go. Here you go, here you go, here you go. If you lost a job, but you're meant to have success, you're meant to have abundance, even if you're in a standstill period, if you're meant to be working, if you're meant to be working in that way, if you're meant to be doing those things, the universe is going to give it to you. Just go through grieving the change. Crows want you to grieve change and move forward. They do so many beautiful things that have come through the communicator clairaudiently and through me now through the communicator. But the biggest thing at this time is grieving losses and acknowledging where you are in grief. Because the first step to acceptance is acknowledging where you are in the grieving process. The crows want you to acknowledge it. So when they come and they sing to you and you think of that situation, that person, whatever you lost, your reaction to seeing the crow actually lets you know where you are at in the grieving process. That's very interesting. Because if you feel at peace and you're like, oh, see it as a beautiful creature of life, you reach acceptance. If it makes you feel sad, it makes you feel scared, then you're in that depression stage. If you're like, no, I don't want to hear what you have to say, you're in the bargaining and in denial. But the process of grief is the greatest lesson of humanity. And so the call of the crow is to help you get through it in every way. Once you reach acceptance, the negative polarity has less control over you. And so you're more able to manifest and attract that which you desire. The lower polarity does not want you to reach acceptance. And so there is that voice inside of you that makes you afraid to let go. But it's okay to let go, because new beautiful things will find you. And crows are really good at finding things. They're really good at finding things because they know that everything is temporary. So why not be open to find new things? Well, not everything is temporary, in a way, because one day you will transition out of the physical reality. But crows are really good at helping you find your forever things on the other side of grief. Really good at that. So if you wish to know where you are in your grieving process, connect to the crows. If you wish to find what is meant for you after the grieving process, the crows have a lot to say. They are, and we were going to have the Guardians of the Veil step through, but I'll just keep talking because they don't really have much more to say in regards to the crows. The crows are that communicator of the veil. And more than that, their sound frequency resonates with the soul. And because it resonates with the soul, the ego gets scared. But remember, you're here to train the ego. Not be controlled by it, but to train it. It can be used as a tool if you train it properly. Because it's that 70-30 control. Because right now, because of how the earth is, the ego needs to have have a little say sometimes, because that's just the reality that you're living in. But it's you being in control. The ego, 30% of the time, offering its opinion. You don't have to listen to its opinion. You don't have to listen to the fear. The ego actually wants to keep you in that depression state, because it can drain your energy. And so the crow, the sound frequency of the crow comes through is like, no, go away. They deserve to reach acceptance. They deserve peace. They deserve happiness. If there is any beautiful animal soul that sees your worth for happiness, it's the crows, because they are in between both realms of the living and the not. They see, their eyes, their soul sees your worth for love and happiness and wants you to let go and move on from the things that caused you pain. Wants you to feel true happiness, and that can be scary. But don't let fear take away your chance at a life of divine tranquility and love. Choose love over fear, so that way fear does not take away the life of love that the divine and the universe knows that you are worthy of. Goodbye, thank you. He's just like, I'm done. I'm done. I think it's the longest channeling I've done in a little while. I don't know, I think I also said that with the frogs. I don't know. It felt longer because they were showing me so many visuals. Wow. The Himalayan salt rock that I have is perspiring. It's like, it's wet. It's creating like a little puddle. It's like was clearing grief. And now it all makes sense. There was lots of visuals, but the biggest thing that I was shown to give clarity on is that there are so many things we're grieving that we aren't even aware of, because it's something that's on this like collective level, that sometimes we may go through the stages of grief for something on a like deeper subconscious soul level that we're feeling energetically. And that's why it's important to acknowledge where you are, because sometimes that like collective grief manifests in our lives as something else. And we think that it's about something else that's currently going on, but it's really about something that's going on a collective level, not just in our own personal lives. So really there is a lot of the stressing of the importance of acknowledging where you're at in the grieving process in general for your life, but also for like specific things, because it can actually help you understand your healing journey and your purpose. The lack of understanding purpose comes from not reaching the acceptance stage for a lot of things going on in life. But even it's sometimes you might just be feeling it and you're like, why am I feeling this way? I don't know why. And it's on a collective level. So just identifying if it is yours or you're processing it for the collective is very important. But on that note, I feel like this video is coming to a close. So sending you love, light, and inspiration. I believe next week is, I don't know. I don't know what next week is. I think the bears are next on my checklist, so we will connect to them soon. I think it's them. I don't know. We'll find out. See you next week. Anyway, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever the next video comes out, and also check out all the things in the description, because that can notify you on more of the inspiring teachings of the Elfian Realm. And if you want a one-on-one reading with the Elfian Realm, with the Elfian Animal Healers, check out my website, link in the description, written on the screen, because I have openings for clients, so I offer sessions for all the Elfian Realm, on whichever one you want to connect to, whichever domain, whichever energy. They all have lots to say to help you on a personal level. They have more to say on a personal level than a collective level when it comes to the current goings on. So, that being said, sending you love, light, and inspiration. Stay inspired.